Good morning, Flosstube. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Stuart and the channel name is Stuart's in Stitches. I also have email and Instagram for that as well, so it's stuartsinstitches@gmail.com, and the Instagram handle is stuartsinstitches, same as the channel. All that will be in the drop down box below. Anyway, good morning. Welcome back on this Sunday morning, the 16th of February for Flosstube number 13. We were at a dozen the last time, we're now at a baker's dozen. I never quite understood why the baker's dozen came around. That's something for a Google search at a future date, I think. We hope you're all well. We've been getting lots of stitching in. Thank you for all your comments that you have left over the last 2 weeks since we last spoke together. As usual, I always enjoy seeing them, reading them. Great to see the engagement and also hearing what you're stitching on. That's always good, especially when someone here looking at you just now is on a stash ban. Always good to get some ideas of where to go looking for things. I'm building up a small list at the moment. I'm sure it'll grow, of things I might buy come the 1st of June. I'll share that with you over the coming months probably, so as you know what's in my mind. Some of that might change, we'll see how it goes. But the good thing, probably wait for 5 months, is do I still like it in 5 months' time? If not, it gets stroked off the list. But anyway, it's great seeing what you're working on. I really enjoy knowing what it is. So again, while you're watching, please, hope you're stitching, and drop a wee comment, tell me what you're stitching on. Always like the ideas. Welcome back to my subscribers, those who come and watch regularly. It's always good to spend time with you while you're stitching. And for anybody who's stumbled across this through the joys of the YouTube algorithm, welcome. I hope you enjoy what you're seeing. If you do like it, please give me a thumbs up, let me know you like it, and if you want to see more, please think about subscribing, and that way you'll get a notification popping up if you ring the bell as well, and it will tell you when I make a next recording, which is generally every 2 weeks, I think it is. That's what's working out just now, and we'll probably keep to that pattern and schedule. Sorry, looking to the side just to see my little list of my running order. I think that's the initial intro done. It's been quite a busy 2 weeks. There's been all sorts of everything going on for the stitching. So we'll start with whips. I think we'll do the temperature stitching first. For those of you who maybe don't know what I do with my temperature stitching, I'm following what I picked up from Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, and it's working really well for me. I'm really enjoying doing it. Lots of reallys in that sentence. What I do is I have assigned 10 whips to the numbers 0 to 9, and then having looked at the temperature as displayed by the BBC weather app on my phone, I take the high of that, and if it's single digits, well, that sorts that out. That tells me exactly what piece I'm working on. If it's double digits for the high, and being in Scotland in winter, that really hasn't happened yet, I will take the last digit. It's been a cold week this week. There has been frost. There was a very light dusting like ice and sugar in the car yesterday morning when I looked out the window when I got up, and I thought, oh, wasn't expecting snow. Not that it came to anything, but it's still cold. So on to the whips and the temperature stitching. So look at my diary. I have a diary of things I have worked on, just so as I keep tabs, and I like to just note down, because I've got a stitching game I play as well, so I report into that every now and again. That scribble there, there's nothing to do with stitching. That was when I was playing Indiana Jones on my Xbox, and I had to try and work out a code to get a number one night, and this is the only bit of paper I had to hand to actually doodle on for that. I did work it out, thankfully. Anyway, we digress. So story keep, that's what's coming up next to show you. The temperature stitching this week, there was a reasonable variety of, well, the past 2 weeks, there's been a reasonable variety of it, and one has had 10 shots, so it's now been swapped out and something else swapped in, but I'll tell you about that when I come to it. Did I pull it out? No, so it's because it's in a smaller frame, it's hiding, it's being shy. So, the 2 story keeps I'm working on, they came to the fore this time as well. I'm not sure how many days they got. Right, first on the history of chocolate, I got 2 days, as far as I can see. What lies within got 1 day. So I'll show you what lies within first. It's a big piece of 18 fabric offcut that I got from Abby at Crossing Crafts. That's where I get my CXC threads for my full coverage kits. Sorry, this fabric is... Like I said, it's big, because it's 18 count as well. And as I've said before, I've discovered that I do like stitching on 18 count for full coverages. Not that I'll be able to do many of them, because I like supersize. And you can't really get a cut of 18 count that quotes 999 stitches in one direction. Especially if the other side is bigger than the bolt, the width of the bolt. However, Story Keeps is great. So here's what lies within. While you look at that, let me just fire up my tablet. I might even be able to find a picture of what it might look like one day when it's finished. I'll say Monday, there's more chance of this being finished than most of my full coverages, let me tell you. So I'm just scrolling down on my tablet while you enjoy the beauty of this. Oh, there we go. Right. Let's do... Oh. I don't know if anybody else has got fat fingers on their tablet or not. When I do this and I try to go to the mock-up, first thing it always does is it ends up thinking I want to look at the Pattern Keeper thing. Right, here we go. Mickey's going to make an appearance as always, and Windows because it's a sunny day. Well, a bright-ish day, not sunny. Right, there he is. There's Pretty Cat. Reminiscent of my friend Violet next door who comes calling for her dreamies. So on this we are at... Oh, now we'll go back, will it? Can he win? We are at 20,635 stitches out of 93,800, which is around 22%. So that's not bad. So I'm just over a fifth of the way through it. So here we are again. I'm working, where am I working? I'm working over this section just now. So this is the light falling down onto the steps from the open door. This is the pedestal that Violet will be sitting on. And there we go. Violet has a wonderful habit of sitting in our back fence, which looks over onto some kind of grass area. And she treats the strip of land underneath as her basic sushi conveyor belt. And she just sits there like a gargoyle hunched over watching till something goes past that she fancies and she's off. Hilarious. But there's that. So that's that one. The one on the other side of the same piece of fabric was inspired by Spartan Stitcher, Kim, here on Flosstube on Instagram, who came up with an idea of using up your odd scraps of fabric with Story Keeps, which is a brilliant idea. I never thought of that. Why did I not think of that? So I'm doing, I bought the Randall Spangler Books of Dreams or something like that, I think it's called. Again, heading to Pattern Keeper. You think I'd be organising of all the... Well, you can't really do that in Pattern Keeper. You can't line them out. You've really got to go looking. This one I know is towards the bottom of my extensive list on Pattern Keeper. Supersized... Oh, what's it called? Supersized Books of Dreams. And I'm doing the first one on a history of chocolate. If I can show that. Let's have a look, see what you can see. So I'm doing that one. And I'm down at the bottom somewhere, as you will see very shortly. I can't give you a percentage on this, I'm not sure how many stitches are in that one dragon, but I can tell you how many I've done, which is 1,917. And this one's super size, but it still fits in the fabric, so the super size is that way for the bottom of the spine, so that's good. And up the way, it's only about 450 or something like that, so it's not that bad. It's quite, and it's a narrowy book, and the way Michelle charted this in Heaven and Earth Designs is that there's a gap in between each spine, so on Pattern Keeper you can easily see where each spine ends, which is magic. So here we go, and there's lots of hanging threads because I'm parking, liking the parking. I flip between, I go through phases of either parking or cross country or basically whatever I fancy doing at that point, whatever makes sense to my befuddled brain. Anyway, if I can get it organised without things falling down. I'm not having much fun, I'm not having much luck today keeping things organised. Here we go. Right, here we are. So, aye, there we are, we're straighter now. So wee feet at the bottom and we're working there. So that came out once, I got just over 100 stitches. I do 100 stitches at a time. And once 10 times has been reached, that piece has had roughly about 1,000 stitches, so it can go away and something else can come out in its place. It's great because for some of these pieces, they haven't been out for a while. So getting the progress on them is good. And it's amazing how 100 stitches a time doesn't sound a lot, but see if it comes out 2 or 3 times. It's amazing what the progress can be. Right, that can go back down to the floor. Next one up. This is Jacob's Modern Folk Embroidery. This is AKGIT. Stitching this on, which is a Verlanda sampler. Stitching this on 40 count vintage country mocha Zweigart, and it looks like that. And I'm down in there somewhere. I'm curious, I can't remember where I worked last time this came out to play. Oh yes, now that I'm looking at it, I see it. Because this came out, a week past Tuesday there, I think. As he flips back in the diary. No, Wednesday. I got 111 stitches. And there's a thread hanging because I decided it was time to stop. I had other things obviously I wanted to do. So we've finished this motif. The motifs are huge. Doesn't look much, but there's a lot of stitches in there. And we did this heat. We started the second motif along. So we stitched there. And I'm using the Roxy Flossco thread, cotton thread for this, which was dyed specially for it. It's called Verlanda as well. It's a lovely brown colour, chocolatey brown. So there was that one. Put that back in the bag. And then it's the massive clear up at the end, the post recording clear down, tear down, whatever you want to call it. It almost takes as long as doing the recording. The next one is bagged. What was this one? He says, looking at it. Oh yes, this came out yesterday. This is the first time this has come out this year. We have not had a 3 this year up until, I think it was Friday. It came out to play. And this piece hasn't really been out for, I'm sure, a good 2 or 3 years. Anyway, if you see me, if you follow me, I've started posting my temperature stitching on Instagram. When I posted this, I was wise enough to post a before and after picture. So this is called Pretty by Nini Thomas. I can show you on here my tablet. This was my mother's tablet, and it's great for pattern keeper. That's all I keep it for, is because she was very crafty. She did tons of knitting and crochet, and she was tremendous. So I use it for my crafting as much as I can. So I use it for pattern keeper. So Pretty, here's the mock-up. So it's two ladies in beautiful gowns sitting on a terrace or a terrazza, but it's a kind of looks like I don't know. It reminds me of an Italian scene probably. Beautiful flowers and a peacock and lots of grey sky. There was a very good reason why this was away for 2 or 3 years. There was lots of grey sky. You'll get tons of 413, 317 and 3799. Lots. And this has been on the go for, well, no. that detail I will keep to myself. 12,803 stitches completed out of 270,000, giving a total of 4.7%. Shameful. Anyway, here's what it looks like. There we go, you can get a good picture of that. And I was filling in, filling in there. Just yesterday, I think I put up 100, or Friday yesterday, put about 120 odd stitches in there, which is all, I'll tell you in a second. I think it was 413. 413 it was indeed. Lots of 413. But it's lovely because it certainly makes the other colours stand out. There's a wee flower with a very dark red butterfly in the top of it. Start of a flower there. We've got this nice tree coming in from the side. So it does make things stand out. This has been stitched on a 28 count even weave. This is before I found, what did I not find? Gridded fabric, or before gridded fabric was a thing. So my diagonals in this will be 10 wide as opposed to the 20 wide I would do in gridded. I'm not brave enough to go that far travelling. Knowing my luck, I'll be going wrong somewhere. Right. Mental note, I must talk about questions at the end of this. Actually, no, we'll interpolate that now, I think. Most of the questions I think I've answered. The recent ones I've replied to your comments. The ones that are left, it's more around. What are they more around? More around what would I show various areas, like would I show my stitching spot, will I show the cupboard of doom, would I show me stitching like a stitch with me or something like that. So all that is in the works, don't worry. Showing my stitching spot, yeah, I'm happy to show that. It's a bit of a guddle. I'm not the most tidy of persons, as Carl will testify to. In this room, we have a desk each with our laptops and monitors or whatever. And I know there's a desk here. Someone's holding all this lot up that I'm looking at somewhere. I can see the odd bit of wood. And I turn my head to look at Carl's desk, and it's spotless, immaculate, tidy. How he copes with my mess, I'll never know. But yes, one day I'll show you my guddle. I'll show you the cupboard of doom with the big boxes in it with the bags. We're coming to the end of the bags and the boxes, but we're not to the end of the whips. There's a whole unit of shelves with whips on them as well to work through yet, so don't despair. We'll haul them out, which will be, I haven't been through the shelves for a while, so it'll be quite good to work through those. So that was most of the questions that were left that I haven't answered. To those of you who answered my request about display board, project board, thank you very much. I found Laurie Holt's video. I now know what to do. That will be a project for late spring, I think. I'll start making one of those myself, see how I get on, because we have the Scottish Stitching Retreat coming up in about 4 weeks' time. I think it'll be this weekend in 4 weeks, so it'll be the Sunday of it. And I am in full bag making frenzy for that. Anyway, back to the stitching. That was a wee digression, just to let people know I haven't forgotten about questions. The next piece I have in front of me here was, these are in no particular order by the way, is Supernatural, is the stitch along from Witchy Stitcher from 2 or 3 years ago. I'm working on the border still, I never get the border finished, and it will look like, hauling up the mock-up, that's what the border is. It's a nice border. I like the font at the, can you see the font? Ah, there we go, pull that down against you. The font at the top is lovely, isn't it? And those, sorry, Mickey keeps getting in the way and there's nothing I can do about that. There we go. That's looking not bad. And then the border, which I'm just working down, and then at the bottom we have much the same as in the sides. So, again, this is a way because it was lots and lots, as one would expect from the Witchy Stitcher, lots and lots of black. Sorry, I'm just hunting up what I'm going to be showing you next. It was, or just short, I'll just have that ready. Yeah, good. Lots and lots of black, and it's lots and lots of black. Oh, the border is entirely black. I have a cone of doom. I have 2 cones of doom. I have a DMC that I bought a few years ago off Amazon, legitimately, before anybody comes at me. It was on Amazon, so, well, I'm saying legitimate, it was on Amazon for sale, so I thought, well, if it's there, I can buy it. And then I bought myself a CXC cone as well. So here's where we are. This has been stitched on, oh, I even kept the tag. I'm learning. This is stitched on a 32 count fat quarter of Belfast linen from XJ Design, and it's called Old Mushroom. It's really nice, it's very suitable for this. And here's where we are. So I'm just bringing down the sides. Each time I pick it up, I'll do that side or that side just to keep them coming down together. At some point, I unrolled it a couple of weeks ago just to check where I was and counted down the bats at the side to make sure I wasn't going too far. So my pattern keeper I know is up to date. So I've not really got much to say about that, although I did wrap it on there for a good 5 minutes. So that's that one. Eventually, when we get to some colour, these are the colours that will be for the supernatural beings that are going to appear. So some nice colours there. There's a black wandering around in it. No, I probably didn't put that on a key fob because I think because it's coming off the code and I'm using so much of it, there was no point in doing that. So these will be nice when it comes in. Right, before that slides to the floor. Yeah, and the next piece is making a bid for freedom as well here. Hang on a second till we do a wee bit of organising. Right, so we're still on the temperature stitching. This is really good because I'm getting to touch a lot of whips, which is great. I'm enjoying the variety of that. And then I have my kind of focus pieces, which chop and change depending on how focused I am or I'm not. Right, the next piece is Tala from Bella Filipina. Sorry, I forgot to bring the picture of that. It's one of the three goddesses that Drin did a few years ago. There's Tala, Maya, and another one that is not Magwayen. That's a different thing altogether. I can't remember the name of it. Hanan, I think was the third one. And I'm stitching this in a 28 count piece of opalescent fabric called Supernova from Sparklies. And here's where we are. So I've done quite a lot in this since it's in this kind of cycle on temperature stitching. When I brought it out, I think it was to only about there. So I've been filling in. Up there, I've been filling in here, over there. Bring it in because there's kind of greys that are disappearing when you look at it, but I can see them on the fabric, which is good. So she's lovely, but that's had her 10 outings. So she's had 1,000 odd stitches in her since the start of the year. So she has now been replaced. You will find out very shortly in the next one what that's been replaced by. But she may come out again as a piece to work on in my plans in the near future because I really enjoyed working on her. I don't know where her threads have gone. It might be behind me hanging off my stand, which you'll see one day. Yes, there's two things here. One of these is Blackwater Sirens. That's that one. And that's the threads for all three of the deities I just mentioned. Nice colours, aren't they? You just need a comb through just to make sure they're no tangled up. Oh, aye, they're good. There. That's it. Ooh, a wee tangle going on there in the pinks. Sorted. Right. Oops, and then I dropped them all on the floor. I tend to hang them off the end of my scroll frame. And I think that the last piece I'm going to show you, let me just check I've covered everything. Supernatural. Yep, the last piece is the new one that came into play, which hasn't been touched for a good few years. Let's see if I can get the picture out. This is going to upset the apple cart. This is a Dimensions Gold Collection one. If you follow me on Instagram, you know exactly what it is. But if you don't, sorry, my nose is runny. I've got a hanky somewhere. Excuse me. Right, this is Fall Fairy, a well-known piece, and I am, where am I? Yes, I'm over there somewhere. I started this a few years ago, now on the shelf, and got forgotten about. I'm stitching this on everything that came with the kit, so it's 16 count, I think it's Dove Grey Ada or something like that. What does this lot call it? 16 count Grey Ada. I was being too descriptive with using the word Dove. This got 100 odd stitches the other day. They're half stitches, I'm counting them as stitches up. It's all progress. And there's where we are. Oh, well, hold on. Let's put it that way now, I can see what you're seeing. Here's where we are. So I was working over this area here in the blues. So you see, I've done quite a bit of this already when I started it. The thing with Dimensions kits is you don't get much leeway at the side of the fabric, do you? You put in a Q-snap, it makes it interesting trying to get to the corners or the edges. To the extent that for this, oh no, I haven't in this one. I was going to say I'd put something at the top of it, but I haven't yet. I might stitch some Ada or something around the edges of that just to give me a bit more leeway when I put it in a Q-snap or a frame. This will probably just be Q-snapped. There's no beads or anything. Oh, no, I don't think there's beads in this one. No, there's not, just lots of thread. Lots and lots of threads. Right, let's get you back in. So it was nice to pick this up again. I enjoyed working on it. So this will be out until it gets 10 calls. And that, my friends, is the end of the temperature stitching. So the next thing, now we're just going to the 2 whips that I worked on. I think there was only 2. One of which Catherine from Catherine Stitches is fully to blame for. But we'll come to that in a second. Just checking back. Oh, and there's a couple of new starts as well to show you. Did I mention that, Melissa? No, I didn't. I've got a couple of new starts to look at as well. Like I needed a new start. But hey ho. You're on a stash bang, you take your prizes when you can. Excuse me while I... the first piece that came out was the Bella Filipina stitch along that's going on just now, the Blackwater Sirens stitch along. I was late start. I didn't start this until January this year. I had everything ready, I just didn't get around to starting it because I had other things I was working on. I'm stitching this in a piece of 28 count fabric from Sparkly's again, called Ocean Depth. So I was just reaching forward to see what the tag said. And I'm working on part 2 at the moment. And I'm really enjoying this. Ooh, let me just haul this. This is one of my long scroll frames because it's a long... Okay, aye, you get the idea. So the treasure chest is done. There's the head of Her Ladyship, the first siren coming in. Right. I'm hoping you can see this. I can't see what you're seeing, but I'm hoping as I move it ever so slowly. So I did all her hair. I've been working down at the start of her tail, and I'll just keep working away at this. As I say, it's really good. It's about time to introduce some of the metallics that are coming into this siren. There's some black gold and black silver, which I think will look lovely on her, and it'll be a bit more sparkle. And then there'll be the beading, the bling. So there we go. So I'm really enjoying working on that. I hope when I held that up you actually saw what you were supposed to see. Because I'm not taking it off that scroll frame. I don't know about you, but it takes me ages to get some of the scroll frame to get it straight and then taut. And then the last piece I want to show you is something that I was inspired to go hunting for, having watched Catherine in Stitches here on Flosstube. Let me just... she had started a piece called Disney Villains, and I looked at it and thought, oh, I remember that from a year or 3 or 4 ago when I started it. So I found the thread box, because in those days we were in bobbins. I hadn't discovered the joy of floss drops and having my threads pre-cut. So I found the bobbin box because I'd labelled it. I'd put Disney Villains on the side, and I had put the picture of it on top. Disney Villains and picture. That's what it's going to look like when I'm finished. I'm in Maleficent in the bottom corner where the bunny and the squirrel are. Aforementioned bobbin box. Nice array of colours. I then spent 2 or 3 days trying to figure out where the fabric was, because it was nowhere near where the bobbin box was. And somebody who shall remain nameless but know who they are commented saying, how many bags did you have to go through, Stuart, to find that? Although I went through a few bags and then I decided, oh, enough's enough, it'll turn up. I then had a brainwave and an inspiration to have a wee hunt through my trolley. I've got one of the Hobbycraft 3-tier trolleys sitting behind me that you can't see at the moment. And I had a dig around the middle tier, so I thought, well, I've seen fabric in there and I've no idea what's on that fabric. So I went looking, and lo and behold, there it was. So that came out. And then I spent a wee while kind of refamiliarising myself with it. I don't know about you, but I find I've got to kind of learn a chart and learn a pattern again when I pick it up. I haven't touched it for a while, just to be familiar with the kind of colour layout of what's going where, what to expect. And then we're off and running. This one though is confetti nightmare. It's not a supersize, not a max colours, it's not a hair, it's an Etsy chart. But the confetti, I mean, it looks stunning. I'm really pleased how it's turning out. So, without further ado, let me What was I at last night on it? I don't want to lose what I've got in my pattern keeper because I've just found the thing I want to show you on it. I'm about 4,000 odd stitches, which is about 1.8% roughly on it. It's a 32 I had good eyes in those days. I mean, it's working, I can get it done, and because I'm using a ball tip needle, it's going through the kind of mass of threads that are lurking behind the beauty on the front. I shouldn't say beauty, I'm the one that stitched it. Right, and the part threads. There we go. So here's where we are. So I've just been kind of, so when I picked it up, it was about there and there. So last night I've started back down in this diagonal at the bottom to bring this up, and I've finished bringing all that out now on the diagonal. So I'm really pleased how it's turning out. So we've got a nice squirrel here. We've got a lovely cottontail bunny that's coming in. This is a kind of fire around the side of Maleficent. And we have as you can see from the part threads, the confetti is real. Isn't it good? I am so pleased with how this is turning out. So I'm probably going to keep going in this just to bring that up to where this ear is hanging down. And then that's it in a good place. It might go away. Not for another 3 or 4 years because I'm really enjoying it. But I have other whips. There are other things that need some loving so they don't feel neglected. You know how they start whining? No, I'm not going to put that back in my Q-snap just now. I'll do that when we're finished. We could be here all day. Right. So that's the whips. As I say, there are 3. Yes, 3 new starts. I'll put the diary away now. I know what I've talked about from there. So let's have a look. So the first one up. This is a piece that Carol bought me for Christmas. Not Christmas there, but Christmas 2023, which I've only just got around starting. Which I've got a brass neck. Having specially requested him to get it for me. I even sent him the link to 123 Stitch. Now, I don't want to bring out the chart. I want to bring out the front picture, so you all know what I'm talking about. So this is from La-Di-Da. Something wicked this way comes. I've always liked this chart, but I love that boot. And I love that phrase, something wicked this way comes. So that's going to be a lot of fun. This is being stitched on a piece of 35 count Havana. And we have made a start, a reasonable start I think. He says, after much measuring and remeasuring just to make sure everything was in the right place. Here's where we are. So we've done a bit of the border and we've started in the heel of the boot. That doesn't look much, but there's a good 300 or 400 stitches going on there, let me tell you. Bring it in. That's better. So I'm enjoying that. So that's nice. So that's been stitched 2 over 1. No, sorry, 1 over 2. One strand of thread over 2 threads on the fabric, on the linen. And I'm using the called for NPIs that all came together, which I've now got organised on my little floss holder here. And I got this as a freebie from Heroes and Stitches off Etsy when I ordered some floss drops from them. They sent this as a wee freebie in it, which was great. It's ideal for it. There's not many colours in it, so there's greens and a black. So that finally got started. And this is a good project for when I go away, because it's not that big. It fits in a small Q-snap. It'll go in my case, in my bag quite easily. So I think when I go away places, this could be one of the ones that starts going with me. I worked on this last Saturday morning. One of my friends was here for a wee stitchy day. So she came, she's also doing the Bella Filipina stitch along. We both started it together, sort of. And then when she was here last week, I was stitching on this, plus the other piece I'm about to show you, which has been hovering for a while in my conscience, waiting to be started. So this is from, sorry I'm stretching to get it, this is from Jacob, Modern Folk Embroideries, and for this one I'm using some of my Silk For You threads, which are somewhere. They are there. Hold a second, I'm just going to go and get them, so that I can show you the pretties. coming back. I knew there was something I'd forgotten. Right, so what are we talking about here? We're talking about Song of the Nightingale by Jacob at Modern Folk Embroidery. So this came out, it was charted for Roxy Floss Co. And when I bought it, a couple of years ago now it'll be, I think, I emailed Jacob and said, I can't get the Roxy Floss Co threads in the UK. The postage from Canada, well, it's not prohibitive, but it's almost equal to the cost of the threads themselves. So being a kind of tight Scot, I decided not to bother. I thought I'll use DMC, and then I never did anything else about it. But then when my winter silks threads from Silks for You came in, I thought, well, they would actually work. And so here's what we've got. So we've got the kind of light colour that's going around the border and sort of highlights in between. We've got a nice dark blue, which was kind of, that would have been the 3750. And then we've got the what would have been 931. I mean, it's not, this is not like 931, but it's a lighter blue. And I'd messaged Jacob to say, this is what I'm thinking of using. This was the other week there. I says, what do you think? And he says, aye, they look good. Which I thought, oh, I've talked to Jacob. So, stitching this on a 40 count piece of calamine from West Greenloft Yarns when I was in their fabric club. And here's where we are. As usual, down at the bottom left. This blue is darkening as I come into you, but you get the idea what's going on. So we've done a bit of the border. Of the outer border, we started the inner border. I wanted to get a feel of how all these colours played together, and I think they actually play together nicely. So I'll keep working on this. Again, this is a nice travel one. There's only 3 colours in it. It's on Pattern Keeper as well, which is really good. So that's that. And again, just to remind you what it will look like in one day in the sweet by and by. And there's mine. So I was really pleased to finally get that started. And it's nice to stitch, it's nice and relaxing to stitch on. So I'll put all that together over there. And then the last piece of one of my project bags, this is a fabric one. A fabric vinyl one rather. We have bags to come to as well, so I'm just going to tell you, 37 minutes in so far, I'm still talking about whips, we're doing well. So, what's in this bag, you might ask? Well, these are 3 little gems. That's not my description, that's what they're classified as. From Hands Across the Sea, reproduction samplers. And I bought 3 of them. They're PDFs, which I've printed out. So there's first I'll bring out the bag, which is not the one I'm working on just now, was Mary Elizabeth Macmillan, 1869. Ooh, that's better. There we go. So there was that one. Put the back in. And then the next one was, this has got a lovely red house, a lovely big house in it, which gives it its name, the Checkerboard House. Which is, I'm just putting it out before it, there it goes. There's where the tipping point is for it to suddenly go darker. So that's that one. I've got fabric for all of these as well. I think I got this from Sue at Peakside when these came out. I'd messaged her saying, do you have three pieces of fabric that would actually resemble what this looks like on the picture? And she did, and she sent me them. And I bought the Overa Soie silks for that. I'm not using Soie d'Argent for these, I'm using Overa Soie, which is a slightly thicker one. And the one I'm working on is Sarah Spencer Kirka 1870. So I've made a wee start on that. I'm stitching. They're all going to be stitched in 40 count. What's this one? God made a beauteous garden with lovely flowers strewn. So we've started this. This is being stitched, let's say, on 40 count something, which is in here. Where's my? I had a bag with a label on it. What the name of the fabric was, and oh well, that bag is now history. It's not there. Anyway, here's where we are. Let me just tighten the fabric up a wee bit. Well, I made a wee start in the bottom. I wanted to see how what the colours, some of the colours were like. So we're doing this 40 count, 1 strand of silk over 2 threads on the fabric, and we brought in, that's the side, that'll go that way, and I've started working along the bottom here, and I filled in that wee flower. It's a red and a pink that's going with the green. There you go. Tiny stitches in 40 count, but that's what magnifying lamps are for. So that was the other starts. That's 3 new starts. What a cheek. You think I didn't have enough in the go? But those charts have been sitting. I looked back to see when I bought them, 2020. So I think I think this was during the pandemic when Nicola started releasing PDFs. I think they were only about 10 each in those days. I'm not sure what she charges now for them. I haven't dared look. Right. Finished objects and fully finished objects. So, there's a lot to talk about today. So, finished objects first. What have we got? So, the first one is, I do Tom of Finland stitches. So, this is the first one in the series, which is fairly tame. It gives you an idea where the series is going. I have placed a needle minder over just to kind of, so as I don't upset YouTube, but they're both fully clad in it. Well, clad anyway, as if you were on a beach. But let me show you. This is obviously when the sailor has arrived, having struggled from the shipwreck onto the beach. And here's where we are. Well, I'm saying this one's finished. So they're very effective. The charting of these is really good. It's all kind of greys and sort of pale colours and lots of white. That white there, where my finger is, that's all that white is stitched. That's not back. That's not the fabric. That's stitching. So I finished that one about 3 or 4 years ago. This was done in the cat fabric that came with it, which was 11 count, using 3 strands over the one. And there's a missing stitch which I discovered yesterday. I knew there was something that I hadn't finished it yet, or fully finished it, and I found it yesterday again under the lamp. So a wee stitch to put in, but that won't take long. It's just 1 stitch. So there was that one. And then this is one of my favourites. I loved stitching this piece. This is from Deborah at Tempting Tangles. It's got everything I love about stitching. It's got a lovely border. It's got words. There's a castle. It's kind of got that almost gothic feel about it. What am I talking about? You're saying to yourself, you're rabbiting, Stuart. So this is Longfellow's Round Tower by Deborah at Tempting Tangles. And it's quite a big piece. I'm not sure. So there I go. So you get the idea what's going on. Lovely border going around it. There's this castle. And there's the verses, which I shall read out to you very soon. But there's lots of interesting things going on. There's stranded work there along the top, long stitches. There's 1 over 1 in the flags. There's trellis work going on there. The wee birdies, as I recall, are 1 over 1. There's a moon. Yes, there's a moon there. And then there's more borders. Was there fancy stitches going on in that border? No, that middle border is just plain cross stitch. Just plain cross stitch, he says. That's that which we live by. And then as we come down, let me just fold this up a bit more so I can show you. As we come down to the bottom, was there satin stitch? Yes. There's almost like a road stitch going on there as well, and here, along there, in the hearts. There was a queen stitch in the middle of that bottom border. That sent me to Google to go and have a look and see, okay, what earth is a queen stitch? I had no idea. And it's all satin stitch, Bargello style, along the bottom there. So lots of different textures, which adds to the beauty of the piece. But it's gorgeous. I loved stitching this. And I think there's someone in there called a quodlibet stitch. I can't remember where that is now. Again, it's along the bottom in the middle where those like wings or harps are. I think they're harps actually. But I loved this design. It was great fun to stitch. And the verse is, I have you fast in my fortress and will not let you depart, but put you down into the dungeon in the round tower of my heart. and there I will keep you forever, yes, forever and a day, till the walls shall crumble to ruin and moulder in dust away. That sounds actually quite depressing and controlling, coercive. But remember the time that was written. This was written by H.W. Longfellow in 1860. I know that because it's stitched on the chart, on the pattern here. And the poetry would have been much more romanticised. So it's all about love and how much somebody loves their partner, their wife, husband, whatever. And I think that's all I can say about that. This is stitched on a piece of fabric from Stephanie, hand-dyed fabrics by Stephanie. I think this was Valerian, and I think it is, I think this might be 32 count. Using the call for DMC threads. And once more, for luck. There we go. It's a stunning piece. This will ultimately get framed and put up on the wall. But I love this piece. It was so much fun to stitch. I think it was Garrett that was stitching this that sent me scurrying off to go and find it. Garrett, Coffee Stitcher, sadly no longer is doing his videos as Flosstubes, but he does pop up on Instagram, so if you're missing Garrett, just subscribe to Coffee Stitcher on Instagram, you'll see what he's been up to. He's still stitching. Now then, where did I put it? The fully finished object. You probably have, some of you probably already know this. I did a wee short, or Carol filmed a wee short of me doing the stitching, and this is I finished it. I turned this into a wee cushion. What I'm talking about is Shannon Christie's Jeweled Mandala, which was a finish last year, and I showed you this, I think, at the start of my Flosstube career. It was one of my finishes. So I have now turned it into a wee cushion, and here we are. So that's the front. I thought there was a lot of stitching in this, as in stitching with the threads. Oh no. The beads way outnumber the number of cross stitches that are on there. There's all sorts of beads in there. So these are beads, I think they're Preciosa beads that I got from the bead company here in the UK. I went and had a wee try and have a look to see what kind of colours were on the chart, and then went and ordered them. On the back of it is just some fabric I had, and then this piece of felt stitched down to cover the closing of the seam behind, which has been ladder stitched up, as you will have seen from my video. But who sees the back? So this is now displayed in our sitting room downstairs, and I'm really pleased how it turned out. And when the sun catches it, it doesn't have sparkle. Very pleased with that. That was great fun. Right. Oh, we're doing well. 48 minutes. Right, better crack on. Bags. So I hunted out a couple of bags to share with you today. I think one of them I might have shared before. I can't recall, but you're getting it again. Because what's in it is beautiful and merits the sharing. First one though, again, is Hands Across the Sea. This is one of the red samplers. And I had this queued up. This was called Harriet Salt of 1866. I think this is a Bristol sampler. Somebody will be able to confirm or not. That's what it's going to look like. She's a big girl. There's a lot going on there. Lots of alphabets, which I haven't reached. I haven't touched this for about 3 years. This should really go into temperature stitching at some point. And I'm down in the bottom there, which I've just enhanced a bit to let you see more clearly. Yeah, I'm using red swad. What's the word I'm looking? Veriswa silk. Is this swadalge? Not swad. Oh, I can't remember what you call this stuff now. 103. That's what I'm looking for. There we are. That's the one I'm using, which is, for those who are interested, number 779. This is being stitched on a piece of 40 count vintage country mocha. It's great for these kind of samplers, that stuff. And there's where we are. It's not looking too bad. And I love red. So I just need to get this out and worked on a bit more. And I have this as a PDF, so it's on my pattern keeper, which is good. This is another bag I made for myself. I had some rainbow star fabric lurking about. Vinyl fronted. I think this is just when I started doing vinyl fronts. I haven't found the tutorial on how to make them. So there's that one. And then this bag, this is one of my fabric bags. This is my self-advertising section here. I think that's K Facet fabric from 2 or 3 years ago. Made into this big bag. It's a big thing that's in the bag. Stuart's rabbiting again. You're saying, what's he going to show us today? So this is a Bella Filipina. This, oh no, not that one. There's 2 things in here. Well, I think I have shown you this bag before. Oh well, you're getting a repeat. I'll show you the main thing that's in it. This is Amphitrite, Queen Goddess of the Sea. It's one of the big ones from Drin at Bella Filipina. She's going to be gorgeous. And she needs started soon. She really does. So I'm stitching this. I got this idea off somebody on Instagram of the fabric. It's a sparkles fabric called Galeen. So it'll be 28 count because there's a wheenie beads and I do not do beading in 32 count. I've been down that road. You've heard me talk about it before. So it's a kind of fabric that starts, the top I'm regarding as like a sandy background with the seabed at the bottom. It just fades in nicely. And as long as I position her fairly correctly. Oh, wrong way around. No, sorry. I'm glad I said that. Sand's at the bottom. Duh. That'll have you chuckling thinking, oh, what's Stuart talking about now? So we'll have the sand at the bottom and she'll sit there in her shell. And then she'll be framed against the blue at the top. She's big. I think this is a half yard of fabric I got near enough. From Kate at Sparklies, who very kindly dyed that for me in the appropriate size that I needed. And I've got all the stuff for her in here as well. I treated myself to a full DMC kit up on this. These are the nice colour palette as always. Drin never fails to please. So that's what's in that bag. I'm looking at it, I'm fairly sure you've seen that before, so apologies for the repeat, but she is well worth seeing again. And it does make me think I really must get that started. It does sit at the front of the cupboard, so I know where she is when I'm ready to start her. So we're all good there. I said I've been making bags. So we've got the Scottish Stitching Retreat coming up. About 4 weeks' time from now, through in Castle Carey near Cumbernauld. It's really good. It's only half an hour for me to get there. It's ideal. Half an hour door to door. Dead easy. And Donna, the organiser, very kindly lets me make bags to bring and sell there. So I've started the bag making frenzy, as I said, for that. And I thought I'd share 3 that I've made so far out of the few that I've made. They're all fabric so far. I haven't decided if I'm going to do vinyl fronted ones or not. Maybe those of you who watch me that are going to be going to the retreat, you can let me know your thoughts on if you want any vinyl bags made. There's this one. I line my bags generally with calico. It's a nice kind of neutral thing in the inside. It's good for your fabrics. I've got an Easter one here. Easter chicks. Daffodils, springtime. I'm saying Easter, more spring. Wee chicks I associate like with Easter, new birth and all that good stuff. And the other one is it's hummingbirds, because I'm one of the things I want to start when I start buying again is a hummingbird tile. Excuse me, I must take a drink. Must be talking too much. There. It's a hummingbird tile from Chatelaine. So there's that one. I like this one. And that bag and the Easter Chicks bag I've done in this size, which ends up at 14 by 12. And I've done it in the bigger size as well, which works out at 17 by 15. So I had enough fabric to do both. Right. That's us nearly done at 54 minutes. Next thing to talk about is plans for the coming 2 weeks. So that'll be temperature stitching. I don't know what I'm stitching yet because I only look on the morning that I pick up the stitching. It's always a nice surprise. I know some of you who are doing temperature stitching we'll do it. We'll plan it out a week in advance. You look at the forecast. You look at the kind of long distance forecast or the long range forecast, and then you've got them all. You know exactly what you're doing. I like just to look in the morning and see what's coming up. What else is there? So with that, I'll finish that diagonal on. He says Disney villains. You see old age, doesn't it come itself? There's a memory suddenly begins to disappear now and again. Disney villains. I'll finish that diagonal. I'll probably do a bit more on the Bella Filipina, and after that, who knows? We shall all find out in 2 weeks' time what I've been stitching on. What else is happening this week? Nothing really. It was a quiet week for us here in the Central Belt. Carl and I don't have any great plans. Payday tomorrow, which is always good. Not that many great plans because, being on a stash ban, one cannot buy anything. However, I am putting some money by each month so that when the end of May, start of June comes, I can go on my splurge, which I'm really looking forward to. That'll be great fun. But one of the other things I'm looking at is Poltergeist Pirates, Glendon Place. Lynn, one of my friends Lynn, who comes to the Scottish Stitching Retreat, she's stitching that just now, and I love it. It's coming up really well. It's great when you can see these in reality as opposed to just the pictures on the internet. So that's in my mind for something to be bought. So that'll be good. I'm rabbiting now. I don't think I have anything else to actually tell you about. I think we're all good. Looking round, see what's at my feet for stitching. I've made a wee start on a couple of other things I'm not going to show you just now because there's not enough really to be significant. Sarah's Dragons of the Sabbat, which now has been charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. I bought it when Sarah at Paid Free Crafts had it. I had started that stitching. I was going to stitch all the black, but when I say all the black, go and watch Alara. You'll see what I mean by all the black. Then I thought, no, that's not going to happen. So I got a piece of black 27 count Linda, even weave, and that will suffice for the black. And so I've now worked out where the dragons and the big wheel in the middle starts, and we'll go for that. So I've made a wee start so that I know where I am. Another piece I handed out was Thea Governor's London, which again is in black. That's Black Ada. So I've made a wee start on that, although I need to go and revisit that because Darren at Dizzy Stitcher, I was talking to him a wee bit about it and showing where it started. And he thinks I've maybe got a wrong colour on there, so I need just to go and check and make sure, see, because he's further on than I am and he's done the bit I've started at. So I just need to go and check that and see if that's okay. Yeah, I did notice when I put it in my Q-snap and I took the Q-snap off, I've marked the fabric a wee bit, which I hope will come out. But I suppose I should really think of maybe using some felt or some cotton or something in between my Q-snap and the fabric when I'm putting it on the Q-snap. Any ideas, comments, thoughts, let me know. And I think that's everything today. So thank you as always for spending time with me. I hope you've enjoyed the Sunday morning with me, or whenever you do watch this. As I said at the start, please, if you're new to here, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you liked what you saw, ring that bell and you'll know when I post again in 2 weeks' time. Please feel free to leave comments below, reach out to me on email or Instagram if you wish and you want to make contact with me. I'm conscious of an email from a subscriber that I haven't replied to yet. It was a lovely email as well, so you'll know who you are. It is in my mind that I need to reply to you and I'll get that back to you soon. Anybody wants bags, please get in touch, let me know what you're looking for. We can have a wee chat and see what I can do for you. And I think that's it. So happy stitching everybody. See you in 2 weeks' time. Bye.